Hello dear traders, petar.jacimovic here from vycanalysis.com. I want to post the update on the GBPUSD and the USD Canadian dollar. I established today the intraday setup. About the GBPUSD, if you remember, I posted yesterday that I sold at 1.3175 area. I sold the GBPUSD because of many reasons. There is a head and shoulders formation, there is a massive sign of weakness, the buying climax, and the ultra wide spread of the bar closing in the middle here. This was a key major sign of weakness after the interest rate decision. We got a secondary test and basically some uptrust there, some retest of the swing high, and then supply came in very strongly. After that, price went lower even and broke the neckline. So I'm bearish from the yesterday, but today what we got actually is after the news in the Great Britain, we got the 100 pips reaction for that news. I really think that this is a only reaction from market makers to trap the sellers, to catch some stop loss orders, and to create the new selling positions for them. So this is a normal reaction. We call this, in the Vycov terminology, we call this backing up to ice, and this will probably create the last point of supply there, which will later on will be a basic last point of supply, and I'm really still expecting the 1.2850, 1.2800 level in the next few days to be on the test. So still, I got some questions on my email and about how I base my trade, and about also market profile using in my analysis. So let's say like this: in my analysis, when I trade any market, I also do trade stock market, but any financial market I trade, I pretty much trade. First thing is I always trade in income trend. It's a very first thing, okay? So there is a lot of thinking, what is actually basically the trend? The trend can be a short term, can be a mid-term, can be a long term, or can be an intraday trend. So I always use the higher time frames to define my trend. For example, I want to trade in sync with daily trend, even the weekly trend, and to see what is really trend. So if there is no big trend on the currency pair, I will not trade that currency pair. I will wait and I will trade others which are trending. That's the one key thing. For example, if you check the GBPUSD and go to the daily time frame, you clearly see, I mean, everyone can see that this is a strong downward trend started for basically from July 2014. So we have a pretty much 2 years of very strong downward trend. If you go to the weekly time frame, you will see that there is a massive downtrend, even starting from 2007. So and then from 2009 we got a correction of for 4 years, the upward correction, some sideways, and then finally the price continued a long-term trend this year. And this can be a very big, this can lead us to a much lower GBP USD than where we are right now, but that is for a long term. Anyway, I use, of course, the long-term trend and the mid-term trend to trade the short term, okay? So even if I do the intraday, I need to be in sync with the daily trend and the trend of the larger frames. Otherwise, I will not trade that currency pair. Okay, you see this 4 hours still very the lower swing highs. So we see the very clear downward trend on all higher frames. So now let's back to this 30 minutes time frame. So if we have the massive downward trend and we saw on the higher time frames, now what I'm using in my analysis is the knowledge of pretty much all proven techniques. And if I see any of them, and I like to watch and to use all principles I can see on the chart before I establish my position. So let's say like this: in this particular setup, I used the chart pattern, I used the volume spread analysis, the Vycov analysis, I used the pure price action, I used the market profile, and I use pretty much these 5. Okay, so basically all in one. I mean, when I check the chart, I see, okay, we have a head and shoulders formation. Then we have a strong, first thing first, we are in strong downward trend. Second, if we are in downward trend, I want to see the distribution phase by the Richard Wyckoff, and this is just pretty much starting of distribution. This buying climax and key sign of weakness after interest rate decision was a massive sign of weakness and key sign of weakness for this currency pair. After that, we got secondary test or uptrust here, the retesting of this buying climax, and then supply came very strongly here. We can see the consistency in this supply, so this is really sign of the weakness. After that, the price broke the neckline of the head and shoulders formation, and we saw today the reaction from news, but that's absolutely normal. This news to catch the stop loss orders, to bring even some buyers who are not so not so informed, so they just buying because they see the better news came from the United Kingdom. But basically, what is the reality behind the news? You must know that pretty much what you see on the news, it's already built. So if you see that after the news the price basically went higher or spiked higher, like you see the interest rate decision, that's already done. Okay, if you buy because of the end of after the news, this is already filled, you know, and most of investors will absolutely close once they see the first reaction in the first few minutes. They will close, you know, when if there is some news traders, you know. So also with this one, when you see the upward movement and you think this is a news effect, yeah, this is a news effect, but it's already gone. That's already finished, you know. And what will dominate is basically the condition generally on the market. The one news, especially this news which will come every week or every 2 weeks, they are just there to trap the traders pretty much. They will not change the fact and the global sentiment of this currency pair. That's also one important thing about the news. So you have an option. You want to close your position before the news, or you want to let the news, even you know that price can go in other opposite direction, but if you're not, if you're still have the big trend in your favor, you know to which levels price can probably go, even if it reverse, then you don't basically need to panic there or to do anything. But for example, if you have the good risk reward ratio and the news will come, you can close before the news if you are already, for example, 1.3, 1:4 risk reward ratio. So that's absolutely okay. But of course, never trade during the news or never trade before the news, because that is pretty much gambling. So that's about this. I use the market profile. Someone asked me about the market profile. I use the basics. I will tell you the basics about that. I pretty much watch the sentiment of the day using the market profile to see where the price traded most of the day, and this is very easily showed on the market profile. So for example, you see that this day here, this is a classic normal non-trend day. It's a non-trend day, and we see that 1.3244 level was a point of control for this day. But once I saw that yesterday, the price very easily go through that point of control with no problem. I knew that traders are happy to lower the value area, and they won't accept the value area at this level, so they think that value area should be lower, so they lower the value area pretty much here. And today I also expect that price lower value area, and that we still see the lower value area, a lower point of control. So far the point of control for today is around 1.30800, pardon, 1.3086. So that's about the GBP/USD. I'm still very bearish with stop loss near the 1.3200, 3035, and my target is 1.2850. So that's about the GBP/USD. About the USD Canadian dollar, I established today this position. This is more the intraday position, since we can easily achieve this 60-70 pips. It's my target. What's the critical bar here? Again, first thing, the trend. I always trade with the trend. If you go to higher frames, you see that we got a trend. You see the higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. If you go to the daily, you see the higher lows as well. Okay, you see the here higher low. Okay, so we got a supply here, you know, and that was a predominant short-term trend for this stage. But once we broke this and created the higher swing lows, we got a changing in behavior according to short-term perspective. You see clearly higher swing lows from this stage here. So as long as like this is an upward trend. Okay, even if you go to the weekly time frame, you still see the higher swing lows even on the weekly. So this is a massive bullish trend even on the weekly and on the monthly time frame. So this is a big upward trend. Anyway, this was a basically more short-term intraday trade, but I always want to be in general trend. Here on the market profile, again, we got this inside market profile, basically the value area here, the some sideways, and then price went higher, value area still in this area. But here, yesterday, the value area, the point of control went higher, much higher than the previous point of controls, actually marking this up currency pair and confirming that value area from the traders. They want higher value areas. They're not happy to be that USD Canadian dollar, the value area will be at this stage. So the market profile is usually always about the balances and imbalances of the market. When we have the balance, we have something like this, and then when the imbalance in price will come, the market profile confirms that, and we starting the new trend. Basically, this was some downward momentum, then the price went sideways, and then we started to build higher value areas, confirming the upward trend is in place. I bought here, basically I will zoom you in. So I bought on the testing of this is a 21 MA, but anyway, I bought the testing of the supply, the bullish bars here. This is a testing, and I bought at this stage here with a stop loss in 20 pips, 21 MA, and I'm right now in plus 24 pips. It's a 1-1 ratio, but I will try to take this swing high 1.3, 130. So I always go for at least 1 to 3 ratio. If I don't see that there is a space for this, I will pretty much skip this trade. I will not trade this. I will wait better opportunity on other currency pair. So that's about my positions at this stage. If you want to learn again my method is basically I'm using all proven techniques pretty much in one when I establish position. I use absolutely even the Ichimoku. I use also the Ichimoku. I use again the Wyckoff analysis, the volume spread analysis, which is part of Wyckoff analysis basically. I use the market profile also to help me chart patterns, Fibonacci work as well. So I pretty much use all this in one when I create my my setup, and I think this is a very best, because you combine for the most powerful techniques, for the most powerful technical strategies, and you combine this, and when you have knowledge of all of this, you can absolutely combine this and create very good opportunities on the market. And I think this is the best way to do. Okay, so if you want to learn all of this, I absolutely teach you everything I am doing, and how I combine this, and you will see this is a very powerful or if you check my journal, you will see that there is a very good results there over the years and so on. So if you like if you want interested to learn, add me on the Skype. We can start anytime you want. We can start the mentorship program. It's a 7-day 7-day course where I teach you day by day. We start the price section. We're going to to the volume analysis, to volume spread, to Wyckoff analysis. Then we add as well the market profile analysis. I also teach you about the Ichimoku trading and how I use the Ichimoku. It's a very powerful as well with all of this knowledge, and absolutely you will be amazed with the results and with the precision of this. You know exactly what you're waiting, what is the trend. You don't need to even think 2 minutes about what's the trend and how you can spot and scan opportunities on the market. It's a very easy. You go by, you see immediately where is a trend, what we are waiting, and what will be our targets, and so on and so on. But again, if you start my mentorship program, I will teach you all of this. From the other side, if you're an investor, I manage the money, I manage the funds. 20K is minimum. I manage, and I can also do that work if you want to invest. That will be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you like my analysis, feel free to subscribe my YouTube channel, and also join on the discussion on my Forex Factor Trader Art of Trading by Petar Serbia. Wish you good trading and have a nice day.